Hey everyone, my name is Max, and welcome to this detailed review part 1. In this video, I'm about to put this pretty beautiful Ibanez RG1120PBZ under the microscope and tell you everything about this guitar. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my Instagram yet, I'd really appreciate if you do. That's where you can find beautiful close-ups of guitars, quick shootouts and demos on many different things, as well as regular updates on what's going on here and what I'm currently working on. Alright, now back to the video. As always, I'll be using my penalty point system, which means I'll be applying my checklist to this guitar, and every time I'll see a problem or whatever, the guitar will be getting a penalty point. The less points at the end of the video, the better. And let's begin this in-depth review with listening to what this guitar sounds like in the mix. RG1120PBZ is a part of the Ibanez Premium lineup, which is the most feature-loaded series made outside of Japan. There is also a version with a fixed bridge 1121PB and a 7-string. All these guitars are available since 2020, and last year all of them were coming in two colors, Caribbean Eyelet Flat and Charcoal Black Burst. But today, in 2021, according to the official website, the 1120PBZ only comes in Charcoal Black Burst, which is a glossy finish. The other one, the CIF, is a satin finish, and that is pretty much the only significant difference between the two. Here are the specs, we'll go through them a little later. I just wanted to point out that it explicitly says Poplar Burl Top. Even though the CIF version is no longer at the website, you can still find both colors at some retailers. Sweetwater even goes one step further and lets you pick the actual top, the actual guitar that you will get. You can choose the look and the weight out of 4 guitars. How cool is that? I just wish more retailers were offering this kind of service. Today, which is June 14, 2021, the guitar clocks in at $1,400 US. In Europe, Thomann has both colors as well, but prices do vary a little bit, 1249 euros for the CIF and 1199 for the CKB. As always, all the links below, and by using them you support my channel and let me produce more content like this, so please check them out, I really appreciate your support. Often you can tell what kind of guitar is inside just by looking at the box. And this one just says Ibanez Premium, so it's kinda easy to get an idea. According to the sticker, it is a sample, which means many people probably played this guitar before me. There also was another paper attached to the box that said Andrew Farris, also known as the Guitar Geek. So yeah, this guitar is a traveler. RG1120PBZ CKB, which stands for Charcoal Burst, 1P01, which means the first modification of this guitar with a bag, not a hardshell case. Which is a pity because it's its predecessor, the RG1070PBZ, came with a very nice, kind of soft case. Up until I think the third modification, when they swapped it to a gig bag. However, at this price, I believe many of you would expect a case coming with the guitar, and I must give this Ibanez its first penalty point. Inside the box, traditionally for Ibanez Premium guitars, you will find the multi-tool, and for some reason I found another Allen wrench right next to it. I don't think it belongs here, somebody must have forgotten it here. Let me guess, the guitar gig? Other than that, there's a tremolo arm, a version with a nut, which is a bit different to those snap-in tremolo arms you'll find in older RG models. In the front pocket of the gig bag I found a manual in multiple languages. Yeah, that's the one that has Russian and Polish mixed up. It's a generic one, all Ibanez guitars I reviewed lately have the same manual with them. Speaking of the gig bag itself, it is a good one, it feels solid and has all the necessary handles right where they're supposed to be. What do you think, guys? Would you prefer a soft case with this guitar rather than a gig bag like this one? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, specs time. The body of this guitar is made of basswood. Look at that beautiful grain. I can see 3 pieces here. 1, 2, and 3. You might be able to see the central piece better from this perspective. The official website mentions poplar burl top, and yes, it is indeed beautiful, but I wouldn't call it top, it actually is a veneer. If it was a real top, we would be able to see the end of it here, or here, which we don't, so it definitely is a veneer. There you can see exactly how thin it is. And here as well, this is the so-called natural binding, a piece of wood without stain on it. The term top at the official website is not very transparent, and I believe half of you will find it misleading. Therefore, here's a penalty point. It is a bolt-on construction with an 11-piece maple, walnut and purple heart neck. It has a volute and an ebony fretboard. This one is actually pretty dark. And don't forget a matching headstock with another piece of poplar burl veneer. This Ibanez has a standard scale of 25.5 inches. The fretboard radius is 16 inches. Here's the neck profile at the first fret. And yeah, that is the Ibanez Wizard profile, which is slightly thinner than the Wizard 3 and the Fender Modern C. Here's how it compares to profiles I've measured earlier. And the same for the 12th fret. Well, it doesn't look like my 1987 RG550 Wizard neck, but it's very similar to Wizard 3 profile. Here's how it compares to Fender Modern C and other profiles I've measured earlier. This guitar comes equipped with the new DiMarzio Fusion H humbuckers. These are passive pickups with ceramic magnets, and my favorite part is that with these 2 humbuckers you can get 10 different tones out of this guitar thanks to the 5-way switch and a coil split switch. The bridge is the egde-zero tremolo, and it is the same bridge this guitar predecessor, the RG1070PBZ, had that I reviewed earlier. And it also has the 0-point system. Unlike the original H tremolo, instead of a snap-in tremolo arm, this one has an arm with a nut, so it goes like this. Here we go. It comes factory equipped with a set of 9 to 42 strings. Moving on to the headstock. The headstock says this is the first modification of RG1120PBZ made in Indonesia in 2019. One of the back covers explicitly mentions Indonesia as the country of origin. Non-locking tuners by Goto. As always, you can adjust how tight they are using these screws. The headstock is angled, no need in retainers, and as I mentioned before, here's a volute. This is the same poplar burl veneer we have already seen on the body, and look at that logo! You're not gonna need any additional tools to get to the truss rod adjustment. This is a very efficient solution. Here's what it looks like inside. A standard locking nut. The controls include a volume knob and a 5-way pickup switch. Together with this tiny switch here, it provides 10 different tone options, twice as much as its predecessor RG1070PBZ, and they call it a Dynamics 10 switching system with an ultra switch. Here we have reasonable strap buttons with fluffy black spacers between them and the body, which is good. Traditionally for Ibanez guitars, we have a good solution for the output connector here. Absolutely any straight or angled plug will fit in here without any problems, even if you have something exotic like, let's say, Providence or Lex cable with probably the smallest plugs in the world. If you haven't checked one yet, do that, they are really good. Another feature this guitar inherited from the RG1120PBZ is the luminescent side dot inlays. These are not lumen lays because the real lumen lays can only be found in the Prestige series Ibanez guitars. This is something probably made in-house. This is a high gloss finish, and this specific color is called Charcoal Black Burst. The back of the guitar is darker. This is also a transparent high gloss finish, and you can see some wood grain through it. Beautiful. The back of the neck is satin, and it is a fast neck. The fretboard is nicely polished. I know it's hard to see, but the fretboard also has a binding which is slightly darker than the rest of the fretboard, but here you can see it better. Here's a close-up of the neck joint, looks good. The other side looks very clean as well. As always, I looked for issues with the finish, but couldn't find anything worth a penalty point. This high gloss finish is flawless. According to the specs, this guitar has 24 Jazzcar Evo Gold frets, and they do look like that. In terms of hardness, they are supposed to be somewhere halfway between standard nickel-silver frets and stainless steel frets. But let's check it out. I have a piece of a standard fret wire, which is supposed to be softer than Evo Gold and shouldn't leave any scratch marks. And that is true, these frets are indeed harder than standard nickel-silver frets. And here's the size of the frets, the width, and height, which looks like jumbo frets to me. Here's a close-up, and you can see exactly what the premium fret edge treatment is. All fret edges are rounded, and this really is a good and a very consistent fret job. Okay, let's check how many tools this guitar needs in terms of full setup. And from the usability perspective, it should not be more than 3, not including the truss rod range. The guitar comes with a pretty cool multi-tool, and it has pretty much everything you may need. So it's gonna be a 3mm range here and here, that's one, and a 2mm range for the saddles and stud locks, that's 2. The same 3mm range for the locking nut, and on the back, a 3mm range here, a 2mm one over there, and a screwdriver here and for the pickups height, which I usually don't count, so that makes 3, and all of them are included in the form of this multi-tool, which is good. Tuning stability. Well, just like pretty much any other guitar with a good Floyd Rose style tremolo, this one is rock solid when it comes to tuning stability because the strings are locked here and in the bridge, so no matter what you do, it stays in tune. The 0-point system also helps. It brings the tuning back to where it's supposed to be after you use the tremolo, but if you want to play those wobbly sounds, you can also remove it. In fact, let's do it right now. It is as easy as that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Freedom! It's time for the weigh-in, and I'm really curious about the numbers on the scale. 3.6 kilos, that's a little bit on the heavy side. And that is 8 pounds. Okay, it is the slippery short challenge, and as you can see, the guitar stays exactly where it is supposed to. It is very well balanced. And the same in the sitting position, it stays where it is supposed to. Okay, let's open this guitar and find out if it is properly shielded. Oh yeah, it's all shielded, and here we even have some extra foil. Both back plates also have aluminum foil on the back. Here we have a 500 B-type pot for the volume, something slightly more sophisticated here than most guitars have. And here's the pickup switch. That's good. That is proper shielding we have here. And even in this part. Pickup cavities are shielded as well. Yep. Very good. This guitar has a dynamic stand switching system. This is the normal mode and this is the so-called tap mode. The idea is not new, Ibanez used it on some guitars in the late 70s, 40 years ago. Now they simply slightly redesigned it to work with humbuckers. When you flip the switch, it connects a capacitor and a resistor in parallel with one of the coils. It works as a low-pass filter and the sound of that coil gets warmer. The overall sound of the pickup changes as well. Let's listen to all possible pickup combinations through the clean channel of Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200. Let's compare this guitar to my 1987 RG550. The problem is, these two guitars have different pickups configurations, HSH versus two humbuckers on the 1120, so we'll only be comparing pickup combinations which are similar in a way. And now let's check what it sounds like through the crunch channel. It's time for some high gain, and for that I'll be using PV6505+. One more thing I wanted to test. Nobody likes crackling pots, right? So let's check how this one is gonna perform. That sounded clean. And also we don't have a tone knob here, instead its function is kind of implemented into the Dynamics 10 switching system. Let's find out if this guitar has any noise that is not supposed to be there. Oh yes, it does. 1, 2. Okay, how about now? Yeah, that's much better, which means the guitar gets 1, 2 penalty points. And if you want to learn more about better noise management, check my noise mechanics video. At the end, this Ibanez RG1120PBZ has received 4 penalty points. One for a missing case, which we may expect to be included at this price, another one for a veneer, even though a top was explicitly mentioned in the specs, and traditional 2 points for the noise at the headstock and tremolo springs. That makes 4, which is good, but don't take this too seriously, just play the damn thing. And that's it for today, stay tuned for the part 2 of this video. Hey, you've reached the end of the video, and I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually want to get to know you guys, so before you go, please leave me a comment below, just say where you're from, what is your favorite guitar or guitar pedal, and how you came across my channel. If you want to support what I do, other than Patreon, there's another easy and free way to do that. Simply show this video to one of your guitar friends who it may be interesting to, and share it, the video, not a friend, in guitar groups and communities on social media. There's never too many views, and that would really help me a lot. And other than that, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video someday soon.